Welcome to the Take 148 podcast, produced by 148 Films. Join us as we explore video production, creative storytelling, and the real stories behind the lens.
About to get real good.
Well, Abby, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I've interviewed most of the rest of the team already. And granted, we've worked together for a while, but you have literally been here for, what, is this week 2?
It's like 2.5 weeks, 2 in like a couple days. But yes, 2 weeks.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
So on the scale of like new employee to veteran, you're certainly on the front end of this journey.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I want to do some backstory on you, kind of share with everybody listening and watching, like what your career journeys look like. And then, of course, like things at 148 are always evolving. Skip's always adding new players to the team. So I'd love to talk about like what that looks like moving forward and what you bring to the team here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in our world, we do post-production. Not post-production. We do post-production, but we do pre-production to kind of get an idea of what a project looks like. So we're going to do some pre-production on Abby.
Okay.
So question number 1, these are kind of rapid fire. Last full book you read? Or audiobook you listened to?
It was probably a Colleen Hoover book, but which one, I'm not really sure. But I've been really like into the like cheesy romance novels recently. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you're read for pleasure, not read for professional development.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're professional developing, what's your format?
I like a lot of hands-on learning. So I've done
Okay.
a lot of like, I don't know, like random things. Like it probably lapsed by now, but I got my drone pilot license at one point in time.
Nice.
Not because I really fly a drone very often, but like, oh, fun. And like I got to actually, fly the drone to learn and stuff. So that was fun. Yeah, I like any like hands-on learning opportunity. I'm all game. I'm a little ADHD, so like sitting and like listening to a lecture or anything like that is not really my forte, but I can suffer through one if I need to.
Fair enough. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
You're on a long road trip, got to stop for gas, need a snack and a drink. What's your go-to road trip drink and snack?
So drink probably an Alani or some sort of energy drink.
Okay.
Snack. I don't know. That's a good question.
We bring the hard ones here.
I know. I'm not like a big snack person, so I'm like, oh, snacks. I don't know. Dots pretzels.
Oh, good
You ever
choice.
had those?
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
some in the
Oh,
back.
okay. Yeah, those are good.
So I only learned about them a few years ago, and it was on a road trip.
Yeah.
Ended up sitting in the console between my wife and I in the front seat, and like they were basically gone by the time we got.
Oh, yeah, they're addicting. I don't know what it is. I don't like other pretzels, but theirs are good.
I agree with you there. If you could have lunch with anyone, past or present, no factor, who would it be? What would the conversation be about?
Probably, this is going to get like sad and I don't mean it to be, but probably my brother. He passed away when he was almost 4 years old. So I think getting able to like see him and hang out with him again would be a lot of fun.
Okay.
He was 4, so I don't know what we would talk about really, but
Sure.
something that 4-year-olds want to talk about.
So where was he? Like you're older than he is? He was?
Yep.
By how many years?
Okay, so if he was almost 4 and I was 17 when he died, so I can't do math in my head.
Well, that
I think I'm,
gives us a good picture.
13 years older than him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
I would imagine you'd have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And 4-year-olds are very insightful.
Yeah, 100%.
They've got a lot of good things to say.
There's a lot of things he missed out on and I got to catch him up on, so.
I love that.
Yeah.
Great answer. Great answer. What is something people might be surprised to learn about Abby?
Okay, like straight off the bat, if you don't know me at all, it would be that I run a neonatal kitten and puppy rescue. But most people, if they talk to me for like more than 5 minutes, learn that. So I don't know if that's a good answer or not. But yeah, it is something that I am super passionate about. It unfortunately doesn't make any money. So, you can't do it as a career, but it is pretty full-time on top of a full-time job. So.
Okay. Hey, everybody needs a passion project, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. This one likes to take all my time and my money. It's okay.
Is your husband supportive of that?
He's super supportive.
There you go.
I was fostering for a while before we met, and my like number one criteria was like, you have to be okay with like a zoo. Like that like you just have to be okay with it. And I was like, yeah, like people call me Ace Ventura, and I was like, okay. But funnily enough, he didn't tell me this at the time, but he's actually allergic to cats. So he takes allergy medicine to be with me.
Okay.
True love.
Well, that's commitment right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, he's a keeper.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So let's go back in time. I've talked to everybody else on the show so far. We've talked about like where their creative journey started. And so I'd love to hear from you. Like if you can think of a time way back in your childhood where you can point to this is where like the journey with the marketing mindset, like, you know, how you think and work now, like where things really picked up.
So it's not super far back in my childhood. I actually, for most of my life, thought I was going to go into the medical field. I thought I was going to be a nurse, and I went to college for that.
Okay.
I did a whole year of nursing school before I was like, yeah, this sucks. Like, I don't want to do this. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just knew it wasn't that. So I was like, okay, well, we've like process of elimination at least eliminated one thing.
Sure.
And so I changed my major, I think a total of like 4 times in college.
Okay.
I still graduated in 4 years. I don't really know how I pulled that off. But I did like, I don't know. I think from nursing, I switched to public relations because I was like, oh, I like to talk. That was the only thought behind that. Then I switched to graphic design, and my father, God love him, was still like coming to terms with the fact that I wasn't going to be a nurse. And he was like, artists make no money. You can't do that. How are you going to find a job? Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not doing that. And so I switched to marketing, and I didn't get a minor in graphic design, but I was 3 credits away from it. So I don't know. It wasn't worth staying another semester in school, but also like, I don't know, sometimes maybe I'll go back and finish it so I can say I did that. But
there you go.
But yeah, I ended up I started working for the intramural sports department at my college. And I actually came there to apply for a different job, and the guy that was doing the interview didn't realize that. So I apparently interviewed for something that I didn't even know was like in existence, but it was the student marketing director for intramural sports, because the idea was that we wanted to get more students involved in intramurals and create more of like a hype around it. And so he like started bringing up like very specific questions, and I'm like, I don't think this is what like I was applying for, but okay. And so I just kind of went with it, and it ended up being so fun. I kind of got my hands dirty, like taking pictures and videos and creating content around sports. Fell in love with it, and I was like, okay, I am going to go into sports marketing. I interned with a minor league baseball team. In Maryland, fell in love with it. Like I did social media. I did a lot of like graphic design work for them. I did a lot of stuff like in the community. Like it was fun. I got to like drive baseball players to like local schools to read to children, and I don't even know. It was a whirlwind, but it was a ton of fun. And I received a job opportunity from them for after I graduated. And then I don't know, most people don't really know that much about baseball, but like the MLB has contracts with MILB teams, and the team that I was working for, their contract did not get renewed. So that kind of like pivoted my whole life plan there, because I was like, oh, one day I'm going to be like the GM of a minor league baseball team. That was like my goal. But anyways, that was a really long-winded answer to that question. But it really didn't start until college, where I feel like I started to really get in like the creative mindset, because before then I was like, oh, I'm going to be a nurse. Like there's no thoughts outside of that. So.
Okay. So you took a hard right turn from nursing to marketing.
Yep.
All right. I love the idea that you were in minor league baseball for a little while. So where was it? In Maryland?
Yeah, in Maryland. It was a Washington Nationals affiliate.
Okay. And you came from the northeast part of the country, right?
Came from Maine, so like as far northeast as you can get.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why. So did you feel like you were more at home for the time you were in Maryland, or was it different enough in Maryland even from Maine that...
I actually hated Maryland. I went to boarding school for high school in Maryland.
Okay.
I was not a bad kid. People hear that and they're like, oh, were you like in trouble a lot? And I'm like, no.
Quite the opposite, actually.
Yeah, I feel like I was a pretty good kid, actually. But I didn't really love Maryland, but obviously, like, I applied to intern with the Chattanooga Lookouts, and I didn't get it. And so that was kind of like my next choice, because like, oh, well, there's one. I know people there, like, whatever.
Sure.
But I was okay with living there if I got to work there type of deal, but it wasn't my favorite place in the world to live. But I've slowly, moved further down south.
Right?
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah.
All right, so a little plug for internships, because if our listeners don't know, we have started an internship program here at the studio, and we love it. We think it's great to have people come in and learn from us and see how we do things in our world. And I can remember in college that I did not do an internship. I did a senior project instead. And I think looking back, an internship probably would have been much more valuable.
Yeah.
So talk about your internship experience. It sounds like they just flew the doors open wide for you and allowed you to do a lot and experience a lot. So what, looking back, how would you rate your internship experience? What would you say to people that are considering an intern experience?
10 out of 10, best experience of my life. That was probably my favorite summer, ever still. It was so much fun. I got tons of hands-on experience, and I think that really helped further my career. The minor league team I worked for had a very, very small front office staff. There were 5 people, and there was no one that was really in charge of any sort of marketing at all. And so I came in, and they were like, you can just do whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I just went with it, and I did whatever. But it was a lot of fun. I do not call myself a photographer whatsoever, but they bought me a camera, and I would learn to take pictures at the games, and I don't know, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I did everything from I'd pick up players at the airport and drive them back to the stadium, or I cleaned locker rooms one night at 2 a.m.
Highlight of your internship, right?
Yeah, so fun. It was a lot of stinky laundry is really what it was. But I got my hands dirty in anything and everything that they would let me do, and they let me do pretty much whatever. So it was fun. I learned a lot. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so fast forward, really not that far. As I understand it, and audience be reminded, we've only known each other for a couple of weeks now and been in the room for a couple of hours total. As I understand it, you started a marketing agency, creative content marketing agency. So tell us how that came about, and where that ended up, what things you were involved in, what drove you to decide to go that route.
Yeah. So after my baseball dreams kind of didn't plan out for me. Yeah. I was here in Chattanooga, obviously, and so I applied. We don't have a ton of sports teams, but I applied to the Red Wolves because they had a open job position at the time. The Lookouts did not, which was super sad, but it's okay. Applied to the Red Wolves, got through my first 2 rounds of interviews, and then COVID hit and the world shut down. And I was like, oh, fun. And so I ended up, a friend of a friend worked for a big commercial construction company in town and got me a job there. So I was working as their marketing. I don't even know what my job title was. I don't know if I had one. I was just marketing because they didn't have anyone that did any sort of marketing for them. They're a pretty big commercial construction company, but the owners also own 5 or 6 other businesses that have nothing to do with construction, and I got to do the marketing for all of them. They actually opened 2 of the businesses while I was with them, and so I got to fully, from the start, brand them, create their websites, create the hype on social media, all the things.
Yeah.
And I absolutely fell in love with, the whole process. I'm like, this is so fun, to see, their business sign and be like, wow, I made that. That's cool. So I started to really get into it. And so I started freelancing outside of that. It was a lot of fun. I did everything from branding, which is still kind of my number one favorite thing to do, to a lot of content creation and social media management. And I don't know, it was in the height of COVID when everyone was at home and, you had a lot of time on your hands. Even though I had a job, I was just at home. I don't know. I just still had a lot of time on my hands, and I just randomly one day was like, oh, I wonder if I could do this full time, because that would be super fun. And I just started Googling, and all of a sudden, a couple hours later, I had purchased in my LLC and done all the things, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this. So there was no crazy thought process that went into it. But it kind of took off. It was better than I could have ever imagined. And so we grew into a full-service marketing and advertising firm. And at one point, I had a team of I think 9 was the biggest we ever got.
Okay.
And we worked specifically with small to medium-sized businesses. I wanted to go more after like the local mom and pop businesses rather than like big name brands, just because we could really develop a relationship with them. And I feel like that's where we were needed the most. There's a lot of, smaller companies where, there's 1 or 2 people that wear all the hats in the business, and marketing is typically, lower on the totem pole. And so
Sure.
being able to come in and be like, hey, like I can take all of these things off of your plate. And it's cheaper than hiring someone in-house because you're not having to pay like taxes on them or Social Security or insurance or
Sure.
whatever. So it was definitely, a great way to have a business owner, get rid of some of their annoying tasks and help them grow their business. And so it was very rewarding in that sense too. And in the past year, it's just been a lot. Like owning your own business is like a 24/7 job. And then I also am the founder of a rescue, which is another 24/7 job. And I honestly just got really burnt out. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't even like sit down without thinking like a million things I need to be doing. Like I shouldn't be sitting right now. And so I was like, I would really like to kind of pivot my career a little bit to something that's more stable, that has better like work-life boundaries, because I was terrible at creating them for myself. And so that's kind of, how I ended up here. Skip actually posted something on Facebook, like I'm looking for like a part-time, someone to help with social media. And I'm like, oh, that's like right up my alley. Part-time sounds great. Well, I'm still like figuring my life out right now. And,
Sure.
so I messaged him and here we are. That was like less than a month ago.
That's wild.
Yeah. So a big life change, but for the better. It gives me more time to spend with my husband, spend with my friends, sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah,
Sleep is good.
sleep is important.
I
yeah,
hear it's pretty critical.
Didn't get a lot of that before, so.
Well, you'll find that in this, within this team, culture is really important to us.
Yeah.
Skip's big on that work-life balance, basically on the life balance.
Yeah.
Put life first, and then work will come. So we've been blessed with that here. So you're taking all that experience and that knowledge from owning the agency and now shifting it over to some roles here with the team and some of our partners. I'd love to know, like, in your mind, like, where do you start when a new client comes to the table you've not worked with before? Like, what, without giving away the secret sauce or anything,
Yeah.
like, what's your workflow? How do you guide a new client in that
Yeah.
world of marketing?
So a brand new client always starts with me just kind of like stalking their online presence, really, truly. Like I check out their website, any social media platforms that they are already on. I check out their reviews on Google because that's always,
This is very
pretty
telling.
telling about a company and like the products and services that they offer. So really just an overhaul, like bullet pointed list of like things I notice. And it could be everything from like, oh, this button on their website doesn't work. Like, why not? I can fix that. To something like more in depth, like, oh, you guys have recently had a spew of like bad reviews on Google Business. Like, why is that? What can we do to change that? On the like really technical marketing side, like your SEO probably plummeted because of that. So let's, what can we do to kind of bump back up in the rankings on search engines? And really just creating kind of like a bullet pointed list of just everything I notice, whether it be marketing related or not. And then from there, kind of sitting down with the client and learning about them. It's been great. We had a meeting right before this podcast where I learned about 148, which is awesome because
That's right.
that's exactly what I needed. I just want to learn more, about, the vision behind 148 and, everything that you have to offer. And then from there, I take my notes from my original online stock with my notes from getting to talk to the client and really just figuring out okay, what strategy do we want to take? What's going to help this particular client reach their short and long-term goals and minimize any pain points that they might be experiencing? And then kind of from there on a content creation specific side, figuring out, okay, who do we want to appeal to on social media and what content will appeal to them, and kind of creating kind of like a blueprint to the content that I want to create, and then create the content and put it out there.
I love it.
Yeah.
So as you're working through all these different facets of a marketing plan for a client, like, are you seeing trends? Like, we talk about trends and trends change, but like, are there things that have happened in the world of marketing and like online presence, social media, where you've seen things change and they're clearly not trends? Like, these are things we need to be taking notice of and following suit because we need to, be aware of this or follow this. I keep saying trend, but follow this trend or start moving in this direction. Are you seeing things change and shift, like even now in that world?
I mean, social media is huge these days. I mean, everyone is on it, and it's become an incredible marketing tool for businesses. I mean, we have influencers, that's a new thing, like a relatively new thing that a lot of people are still like, I don't think can fully wrap their head around it. But influencers are an incredible way to market. I mean, social media just in general is something I feel like within the last like 5 to 10 years that has really just like blown up. And so with working with a lot of like the smaller businesses, we work a lot in like the construction industry, for an example. So not to like be stereotypical, but most people like higher up in a construction company are like middle-aged men that use flip phones. And so the concept of like, posting on Instagram is going to get you, this, and this is really foreign to them. So kind of educating people on the fact of like how important social media can be for your business and how beneficial it can be. It's definitely like the number one thing that, I bring up with a lot of people. Like, social media can change the way that your business runs.
That makes sense. For a long time, because like I'm old enough to have seen social media like when it started. And like, I think for a lot of people, they thought like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Like, that's very trendy, to use the word again. And like, it'll have its time and then it will take a backseat to something else. Or, big media probably didn't think much of it when it first came about. TV, radio, newspaper, whatever. They're like, but here it is. It's a very, very viable, very mature platform. So how much weight do you put on like organic content versus people investing in like paid ads? Like, what's your conversation with somebody when they talk about a spend on a social media budget?
It depends on a few things. Number one, like, what does their presence look like currently? Like, are we starting from ground zero? Like, you don't even have like a profile on Instagram, or are we starting like you have like 5,000 to 10,000 followers? You have that audience there. It's just a matter of like, how are we engaging them, and then going outside of that audience. So figuring that out, and then also, what are your goals? Because some people, they just kind of want a portfolio of their work that they can direct potential clients to see. And other people, they rely on social media to actually find new clients. So depending on their goals too is kind of a way to kind of differentiate, like, okay, would organic be better for you or be paid? With most cases, I feel like a good combination of both is helpful. And obviously the goal is always to get to the point where like your organic content is really working for you and you don't have to be paying for ads. But a lot of people need help to get to that point. And so paid ads are a great way to do that. And you don't have to spend like an atrocious amount of money. Like, people think like, oh, I need to spend like $5,000 a month. No, like, you don't really actually have to spend all that much to reach the people that you are wanting to reach, provided that, we can establish exactly who you're trying to reach. Social media is great, especially Meta. Like, you can really get down into the detail of who you want your ads to go in front of. So you can get down to like, I only want women ages like 25 through 37, and they make around 60 to 80 grand per year, and they're really interested in, I don't know, makeup, for an example. You can really like narrow it down, so that way you're not spending a ton of money reaching all these people that don't matter. Like, that, not that they don't matter. They don't matter to your business. Like, they're never going to turn into paying clients. And so you can spend less money to reach more high quality leads.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes total sense. I love it. So for this team, you are the content marketing manager, which obviously we've been talking about for a while.
Yeah.
But when you came on with us, I know Skip handed you some clients with a wide variety of markets and industries.
Yep.
So like, what, we talked about like what you do with a first time client, but kind of give me your first impressions when you sat down and looked at, the gamut of clients that you're working with, because one is in the like outdoor sports and recreation industry, another is in the like the kids toys world. So like what does managing a portfolio like that look like, and how do those kinds of clients, what's similar, what is completely different in like your approach to like that?
My starting process is the same for both, or all three, 148 included.
Sure.
But from there, what kind of differs is I really want to create, how do I put this, like a personality for that company,
Sure.
so to speak, that people can relate to, build a relationship with, as crazy as it sounds. And so, I don't know, the past 2 weeks have been a lot of me just like going through old posts, going through their website, learning as much as I can about them to kind of be like, okay, this is the voice that I want this particular company to have. Like obviously, with a business that's kind of in the toy children's world, is going to have a completely different voice and tone of things rather than outdoor sports and recreation, because you're appealing to two completely different audiences. And so I've been focusing like on one at a time, so I'm not overwhelmed trying to do 3 different things at one time.
Sure.
But now I feel like I've got a handle on one, like moving on to the second, but really just creating, just an overall like general like list of, this is content that I feel like would really help market to this specific demographic, and then coming up with ideas off of that.
I love it. I mean, that's all you can really do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, I think regardless of what industry they're in,
Yeah.
there's probably a lot more similarities and differences at the end of the day
Yeah.
when you're applying that approach. So when you look at the world of content marketing, kind of like we talk about this here in the office a lot about like traditional Hollywood and the way people used to think about Hollywood and big studios, big names, multi-million-dollar budgets. There's a shift. There's a noticeable shift that's happened, and it started with streaming platforms and smaller budget films, and you've just seen a major shift from the Hollywood idea to now, smaller formats. Like even some things we do, like we can produce high quality content that can disrupt that kind of traditional market. So, like, is there a world where you see content marketing, taking another direction here in the near future? Or I know for Skip anyway, like we've talked about the idea that what we do here at 148 can support like this growing content creator market, because we've got the resources with the podcast studio, with the psych space, with gear and equipment rentals, with a team that knows what they're talking about. So like, do you see any major shift in the industry other than the fact that maybe it is just continuing to grow in popularity and maturity?
Yeah. I don't know if I see a major like change coming, so to speak, but just the fact that like it's just become such an overwhelmingly like big presence in people's daily life, but also, in their business and in the ability to reach more people than you've ever been able to reach before. Because I mean, before social media, I mean, you had radio, TV ads, magazines, word of mouth is what I hear a lot of people. Like when I sit down with them for the first time, like, what do you do normally? Like, how do people find you? And they're like, oh, I don't know, friend of a friend told blah, blah, blah.
Especially in a small market, right?
Yep.
For sure.
Which is great. But, when you tap into the realm of social media, you unlock a whole nother, way of marketing to people and reaching more people than you ever have before. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's say there's someone that's interested in going the content marketing route like you have. Now that you've done this for going on a decade, what would you advise? What would be your advice to somebody just looking to get started?
Get your hands dirty, get hands-on experience. And I did a lot of things for free starting off. Like my internship was unpaid. So I bartended for a long time, like throughout college. And so that like paid my bills. And then I got to do what I wanted to do that was fun. and eventually going to turn into a career for me. So offering to do things for free. I mean, if you know someone that's running a business and be like, hey, I'm really trying to get my feet wet in the social media, like content creation realm, like how would you feel about working out some sort of deal where I help run your social media. In exchange, I get to use it for a portfolio. So eventually one day you have this amazing portfolio that'll get you a paying job, whether it be a job or a client or however you want to go about it. I know there's a lot of people that do freelance in this world. So whatever, it is that you want to do, having a portfolio that really showcases your work and then having the analytics reports behind that to back it up.
Sure.
So whatever you can do to do that. But I mean, do stuff for free. I mean, it's free, but it's also like it's helping grow your skill set and grow your portfolio. So in the end, you're making stuff off it, not like tangible money or anything, but
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's valuable skills and experience.
Yeah.
You can't replace experience.
Yeah.
How much weight do you put on your background in graphic design, your understanding of, I think you said PR, you went the PR route maybe for a little while, and like you had experience with a camera through your internship. So like how much weight do you put on kind of those smaller experiences that kind of lend itself to the bigger picture of like marketing, advertising, understanding?
Yeah.
Like, especially for someone that might say, I'd love to do what you do, but like, I don't know
How to do
Photoshop.
Yeah.
I don't know how to turn a camera on. Like, what would be your advice to someone who's at that point, and how much, like I said, how much weight do you put on those experiences that you had?
Depends on what kind of person you are. I feel like I'm the type of person where I want to learn how to do everything myself. Not saying that I like am going to do that every day, but like I just want to know how. Like I want to be able
Sure.
to do it if I need to. So like I got my drone pilot license. So I think it depends, like if you're the type of person that wants to learn how to do everything, not saying that you're always going to use it in your career, but just having that knowledge, and it's a great thing to put on your resume too.
Sure.
But also the world of marketing, there's just so many different things that you can get into in the world of marketing. So there's never any harm in just specializing in a specific area, whether, you're specializing in a specific like industry, like nonprofit marketing or construction marketing or
baseball.
Yeah, or sports marketing, or you're specializing in a specific task within marketing. So whether that be like social media management, I'm great at that, or I'm really great at ads, whether that be on social media or through Google, Meta, I mean, whatever. Like I'm great at figuring out how to set up an ad to best reach a target audience. Then really like hone in on that skill set that you have and specialize in that. And there's always people, that need different skill sets within marketing. And, when I was running my company, we used a lot of subcontractors for things that like either I didn't have time for or I didn't feel confident enough in my abilities to do. Yeah, like I took a drone course, but would I actually like fly a drone for a client? Probably not. But I know enough so that I could hire someone that I know has that skill set to be able to do the job and do the job well.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's about time we wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Thanks. I've learned a lot. I
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing everything.
Of course, I feel like I just like talked your ear off, but
I think what you've demonstrated is there's certainly an opportunity to come back and take a deeper dive on some of those topics that we discussed. We kind of hit some wave tops on some things, but I think there's opportunities for a deep dive for sure. Is there anything that we've not talked about that you'd want to bring up in this first of many episodes?
no, I don't think so. Thanks for listening to me.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being willing to step in, less than a month on the job.
Yeah.
The rest of the guys have had some time to get used to the idea that they're going to sit on a mic and, go deep on some things. But I appreciate you being willing to do this.
Yeah,
So
of course. It was fun.
We'll do it again soon.
Yeah.
And Abby, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Time.